What's up, everybody? This is Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger, and you are watching Ranger Wrap Up. Uysa!
Heyo, I am Ranger Liz, and welcome to the Ranger Wrap Up, where I'm going to be giving you your news around the grid. This is going to be an amazing show. We've got a whole bunch of parts to it. I hope you enjoy it. My responsibility, I'm going to give you the news. And news we had this week. Oh my gosh, Ranger Nation. So we had a new video game that's coming out on mobile. That's awesome. We found out a bunch of stuff for the 30th anniversary, and then we got some details about the episode, and then there's also the we have Josh coming in with Lightning Collection stuff, because Blue is definitely in season 30, and now, you know what I mean. We have a lot to talk about. Oh, yeah, and Austin St. John has been indicted on federal charges. Let's just get to the news, right? First topic, guys, there is a new game on mobile for Power Rangers, and it is called Power Rangers Morphin Legends. So this is going to be a character collection role-playing game. Lets players collect, strategize, battle, and level up iconic Rangers and villains across the seasons to assemble the ultimate Power Ranger team. I'm in. I think that sounds fun. It says it's designed for even the most discerning Power Ranger fans. That is something big to live up to. We might have to hold you to that. So this is also coming to you from Inway. They also do Legacy Wars. They do Battle for the Grid. It's in a soft launch already, and they're wanting to test, collect feedback, and whatnot. If you're interested in hearing more about this, or if you want to see some of us play the game and what you think about it, let us know in the chat, or let us know in the comments below. I'm probably going to give it a shot because I'm a sucker for Power Rangers. And if it's Power Rangers game and it's free, I'm probably going to get it, right? Right. It said it's the latest entry featuring turn-based action, event-driven meta, and a narrative experience never seen before on mobile. I'm interested. I hope you are too. It's called Power Rangers Morphin Legends, and soft launch starts already. We had huge Lightning Collection news on Wednesday. Also, happy birthday, Josh. For his birthday, he got Lightning Collection reveals for the Blue Ranger. Not only the helmet, but the lance. It's awesome, but I'm not the Lightning Collection person. Josh is. Josh, take it away.
Hello, Power Rangers Lightning Collection fans. This is Josh Perry from the Illuminerdi, and here's everything that happened for the Lightning Collection this past week. So first up for this week, we have Ninja Black and Blue still being found at Targets. Now, we had already talked about this last week, but they are now more abundantly being found more often by people, and they do seem to have better quality control on this batch than we saw with the Ninja White and Pink Rangers a couple of weeks ago. So that is definitely very, very nice, because we had a lot of problems with those ones, and I know a lot of people were worried about how these ones were going to turn out. Now, if you did pre-order them from Target's website, they were finally given a release date on Target's website of May 26th, so if you pre-order them back in August, they should possibly, hopefully, be starting to ship out from Target within the next week or so, and by that point they'll probably be up in stock on the Target website, and as the last time I checked, they are back up for pre-order right now as well, so if you did miss them from months ago, you do have another chance right before they start to ship out, or you might be able to find them at your local Target since they are being found a lot more frequently. Speaking of figures being released, Ready Clipdoor is now currently in stock on Entertainment Earth, being a couple months earlier than the original August pre-order date that he was given back in March. So if you would like to add this figure to your collection, I would imagine other retailers that had him listed for August are probably going to start bumping their release dates up, because if Entertainment Earth got it, I'm sure Big Bad Toy Store and Hasbro Pulse and GameStop and such are probably going to get it here pretty soon as well, but it is currently still in stock on Entertainment Earth if you'd like to get him right now. And if you spend at least $39 on Entertainment Earth, you do get free shipping, so you're going to have to add a little bit to your order, probably about $15-ish to your order to actually hit that threshold, but I'm sure you could probably find something there, or you can just pay the little bit of shipping from Entertainment Earth to just get Ready Clipdoor by himself right away, but that's an option if you'd like to get that a little earlier than August. And then the big things that happened this past week were official product reveals from Hasbro this past Thursday for the Blue Ranger helmets and Blue Ranger Power Lance. So I had said before a couple months ago that these items were coming, and here they are. So the Blue Ranger helmet is our next helmet release following the Lord Draken one that we saw back in March, and this goes great with the already released white, red, and pink Rangers, so we are slowly and very quickly actually building the entire Lightning Collection Mighty Morphin helmet team, so I'm sure we're going to get green, black, and yellow at some point down the line. But this helmet looks fantastic. It's going to retail for $90 and be released as a fan channel exclusive this upcoming fall, which means it's available on multiple different online retailers such as Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, Hasbro Pulse. Any place that I just listed with Ready Clip Door has this up for pre-order right now as well, and it should be out sometime between August and October, somewhere in that time frame. And to go with that, we have the Blue Ranger Power Lance, which is a great follow-up to the Power Sword that we saw last month. So it does seem like Hasbro might potentially be building towards a Power Blaster in the near future, which would be really, really cool. But the Power Lance not only can separate into the two individual lances that we see in the show, it's going to be able to extend into one huge big lance that reaches somewhere between 55 inches big or so, which is going to be insane, and it looks incredible. And just like with the Power Sword, Hasbro has put lights and sounds into this item, and is going to come with a display stand that can fit both the regular in one big lance mode or like the individual lances for whichever display option you would like, or I guess whichever one you have room for. So this one is going to be pricey. It's also going to be a fan channel exclusive release just like the helmet, and it's going to retail for $132, which is still significantly cheaper than the Power Sword was at $220, but still definitely a very pricey item, and I can't even imagine what the other power weapons would cost if we do get them sometime down the line. And that's all we have to talk about for the Lightning Collection this past week. Of course, until next time, if you guys would like to check out more in-depth discussions on all of these different stories from today, you can check out the full episode of Lightning Storm available on the Toku Topics YouTube channel right now. Of course, you can also check out my articles over at the Illuminerdi, and follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or at LightningFigPR. And this has been a little quickie Lightning Storm.
This story is blowing my mind right now, okay? So it actually came out on Wednesday, didn't really catch Ranger Nation's radar until Thursday. 18 arrested, charged in East Texas Paycheck Protection Program related fraud. Paycheck Protection Program came out during COVID. It was to help small businesses be able to stay afloat while everything was shuttered down, and help them make sure that their lights stayed on, that they could help keep paying for their employees' health care, pay the payroll, things like that. Think very important things for small businesses. And there's been an indictment. So this indictment was returned by a federal judge. It was apparently done back on May 12th. It charges the defendants with conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Okay, and then it says here's the following 18 defendants, but who do they have on there? And I'm telling you, everyone is just like normal, dude's name, age, place, right? Completely normal. This one catches your eye. Jason Lawrence Geiger, also known as Austin St. John, also known as the Red Power Ranger. Okay, they made sure to put that one in the official government document. I'm going to try to keep this relatively condensed, so if you want the full longer spiel, go check it out on my channel, Ranger Liz on YouTube. But apparently all of the defendants were led by Michael Hill and Andrew Morin, alleged to have executed a scheme to defraud lenders and the Small Business Administration Paycheck Protection Program. This goes very deep in the fact that these people were falsifying documents saying that they either created businesses or falsifying things about how many people were on their payroll, their salaries, things like that. Yeah, they falsified this, and it's definitely coming up to him. But you're like, what? Hey, how many times did this happen? A lot. Apparently, in total, the defendants are alleged to have fraudulently obtained at least 16 loans. 16 loans! It can drive! But okay, 16 loans? Liz, how much do the 16 add up to? Let's be a little bit... Oh, it's $3.5 million. Okay, so... alleged to have fraudulently obtained at least 16 loans for $3.5 million, and if convicted, he could be facing up to 20 years in a federal prison. Now, I know it seems strange that I'm smiling about this because I am literally so mind blown. I don't know how to react to this. So, I'm just like laughing hysterically because I don't know. I don't know how to process this. Our Red Ranger, you know, Asa St. John, woo, and there we go. And apparently once they got the fraudulent money that they were supposed to have used for other things, they either put it in their personal accounts, bought other things, or sent money to go put into foreign exchanges. So they didn't even want to keep the money here. Obviously. This story is going to be unfolding. Just stay tuned. Guys, again, make sure you're hitting the subscribe button and stuff, because I don't think this story is going to be going away, and we're going to follow it through, because holy crap. Whew. $3.5 million. And now it is time to talk about the 30th anniversary, which is the, you know, the big story that we've had throughout the week. Is some details coming out about the 30th anniversary. So one thing we do know David Yost is going to come back at some point. However, we don't know if it's like a one-off thing. Like, you know, Kelson Henderson came back. At one point, he was just in for like an episode. We don't know if it's that. We don't know. It could be the entire season. We just know that he is coming back at some point. But this big 30th anniversary thing, this is how Hasbro plans, or this whole Lost in St. John thing is just freaking my mind out, okay? The Illuminerdi can exclusively reveal that alongside the 30th anniversary season, there will be a reunion special. It's gonna reunite some of the original cast members. Now, if we're like, oh my god, they're all coming back, not everybody has signed on, so just chill. I know we wish it could be all of them, or as many of them as we can. That is not the case right now. But they are trying to get original cast members back for it. We have learned this is actually going to be a 44-minute episode that they are planning on, and they've all been asked. All the original actors and actresses have been asked. NDA, they couldn't say anything, even if they wanted to. Don't forget that. This 30th anniversary is kind of supposed to be the grand finale of Power Rangers, and hearing that, you know, they're supposed to be having a reunion of, I mean, maybe as many original cast members as they can get back, that would be great. But obviously, you know, some people were asked, do you think back all the way to the Super Mega Force stuff? Things just don't work out, and sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I hope we can get as many as possible, but obviously be on the lookout, and we'll keep you updated whenever we hear more things. What else did we hear though about it? We got some plot details, or at least bits of what they're going for, and let me know again in the chat or the comments what you're thinking about these so far. So I guess if you don't want to hear any more, just, I don't know, turn off your monitor for a second or something. So the 30th anniversary is going to be spending a lot of time reminiscing on the past. This show will be introducing new characters to the franchise, and one of them is apparently going to have a very major role, and that is Trini's daughter. So there were some casting details that kind of got leaked, and we learned that Hasbro is looking to cast someone that can play a Vietnamese American between the ages of 18 and 23, and according to our sources, it's the daughter of the original Yellow Ranger. So Trini's actress, obviously, Thuy Trang, she passed away tragically in 2001 in a car accident, and it'd be really cool, you know, to see this as an homage to her living on through it, because I think for all of us Power Ranger fans, she's never totally left us. She's always going to be a part of us. She's always going to be a part of Ranger Nation and our memories and everything, especially, you know, for me growing up. But this, to be able to have her legacy continue, I think would just be amazing. And hopefully this is really going to be honoring her legacy, as well as just the character of Trini. And then apparently the Yellow Ranger is going to be heavily featured on the 30th anniversary toys. We have no idea what toys coming back for things like Lord Zed, Helmet, and Dino Charge. I mean, the Blue Ranger stuff's coming out like later this year. Like, it couldn't possibly be for Billy, right? And then, I mean, Yellow Ranger stuff, Yellow Ranger, we're being silly. However, I do want to point out specific plot details are still under wraps, and obviously subject to change because of everything that's happening right now. But it says, however, we do know the returning Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are set to pass down their powers, which is really freaking cool. And then Yen Trini's daughter, to become the embodiment of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This one is a little interesting, an entire embodiment. I know things with the comics, if you're familiar with that, and the Morphin Masters. Well, there's the show Morphin Masters, and then there's the comic Morphin Masters, and they are all flowy with their stuff. I kind of see how that could work. I don't know. My head's a little thrown with that one, so we'll definitely see how we get it. It says Yen's going to eventually gain a modified version of the Mighty Morphin yellow suit, which can actually switch between different colors. Cool! Tokusatsu, if you're a fan of Sentai, like, let's see this suit swap colors. But as of right now, we have no idea how in the world the Mighty Morphin reunion is going to connect to the 30th season, but we shall see, and we shall be keeping you entertained and updated, both, depending on what you need more on this Saturday. I hope you enjoyed it. My mind is just, this whole week has been crazy with news. That isn't even talking about the Jonathan Entwistle took Power Rangers off of his Twitter, and everybody's all like this. We got Power Rangers Universe stuff in comics. But guys, we have a new mobile game. Austin St. John has been federally indicted for wire fraud charges. And then we have all of this 30th anniversary stuff, which is crazy. Don't forget about the Blue Ranger Lance. You can go ahead and get it all pre-ordered right now if you want. News, however, wow. What a week. So if you want to check out more of my stuff, I'm on Twitter, Ranger_Liz, or you can find me right here on YouTube. Hiatus is ending now, I guess, very soon. So I hope to see you there. Joe, cut it back to the studio. See ya.
Welcome to the Ranger Wrap-Up, guys. We are live. Thank you so much. Liz killed it. That was a more phenomenal job.
And
Liz.
Josh with that lightning collection thing. That was great.
What is all this stuff on the side of my head here that's moving up and down
Oh, that's
screen?
the chat. Let me turn that off.
But thank you guys so much for joining us live. We're going to be talking about a lot today. We have a 30th anniversary discussion we're going to be doing. It's called the Ranger Nation discussion. It's going to be myself, Jezzer, Heirloom. Liz will be back for that, and Toku Chris.
Yeah.
We're also going to be talking. We had a chance to talk to Russell Curry and Chance Perez from the Dino Fury season, and that you guys are going to get a chance to see that as well. Jezzer, who's in the chat?
Who is in the chat? I saw Robert Amaya. We got Donnie Pearson. Heirloom. Liz is here. Eddie. We got the A Games. I don't know if it's the A Games. We got who else? We got Bryn. We got there's a lot of the the OGs. Pikachu Master is back. We got there's a lot of people. Larry Newbill, Buddy Larry, and Bryn is here. Gamers Force Ranger is here. Donnie Pearson. Josh said something. Let me see. All right, go ahead.
So I wanted to thank Josh Perry, the Living Ranger Key, for that great lightning segment.
Yeah.
Also, we're going to be talking about the 30th anniversary, which I talked about, and Fan Club is going to have his fan theory of the week. Heirloom's going to be talking about the Super Sentai.
Nice.
And we have the Super Chat feature. That's all for you guys. Help support the show. But first, I think we should kick it off, because I know that comics are still a big thing, and we got Deoxy with our comics.
So Power Rangers issue 19, it's finally out, and if there's one way I can describe this issue is things come full circle in this issue, where it starts off with Zack and Trini being parents for this alien baby which receives a name and they call it Journey, and the issue ends with Jason getting the news that his mother has passed away. And although this issue opens up with some comedic and funny moments, it does end with tragedy. But not only that, you've also got the Andros stuff going off where he's fixated on revenge, he wants to save his home planet, he wants to get revenge on Dark Spectre, so you've got all that stuff going on where Andros has teamed up with the Omega Rangers and he's going to be joining them. So we've got that going on as well, but talking about the loss that we had in this episode, the phone call that was teased months back that an important character would be dying that's tied to the Rangers. Off where Zack and Trini, they found the baby got big, and now it's a big baby. So Zack and Trini have become the foster parents for this alien, which they've nicknamed Journey. And Journey, I gotta say, Journey's design, done by Marco Renner, I think Marco Renner did the design for Journey, is really fucking adorable. I just love how Journey looks like. It's a cute baby alien design. It's got the baby Yoda thing going on because it's green, it's small, it's adorable. And the whole arc that Zack and Trini are going to go through in Charge to 100, I'm guessing, is trying to find Journey's parents, if they're alive or not. We don't know if they're dead. It's sort of implied they might be dead, but Zack and Trini say they've got the goal that they're going to find a whole planet or a whole world full of people that look like Journey so they can be reunited with their people, because maybe their parents are still out there. Who knows? But I really do like how Zack and Trini are taking on a more of an adult role in this story arc. They're sort of becoming parents for this alien and sort of raising it as their own. And there is this moment in the comic where they meet one of the Safe Haven families, and Journey does question, why don't we all look the same?
Back.
All right. Well, look, let me ask you, Jezer, are you reading the comics currently?
I'm trying to catch up on them, but it's a lot, dude. There's so many different storylines that they're following. It's a lot. It's honestly a lot.
Now, in the chat, let me know if you guys are reading the comics as well. Look, I think the Boom Studios is doing a fantastic job with the Power Ranger comic books. But
do you think that this could be? Honestly, I think they just need to hire the writers for whatever show.
For the show.
I mean, since even there's some speculation that Entwistle, just based off his Twitter bio, backed out. I mean, let's get some other writers on there,
Well, we will be talking about that in our Ranger Nation discussion
Yep.
a little bit later on. Jezer, what's the chat saying?
The chat.
By the way, we got these great drinks that Kevin, one of our teammates, made. This is called the Mastodon.
It's kind of cloudy.
It's cloudy, but it has these like shimmer. It's like little glitter in it. You know why? It's because I sound echoey. I can hear myself sounding echoey. But you know what? We're gonna put together a video for the next Ranger wrap up about how to make these. So this is from Rocket Alcohol. But,
we got a super chat from AH.
read it.
It says, "Welcome back. We missed you. Not a great few weeks for PR fans. Do you think the reboot will still move forward?"
Do I think the reboot will still move forward? Are we talking about the movie? I'm assuming we're talking about the Jonathan Entwistle
I think
movie.
the whole universe.
Oh, the whole universe. I think that it's going to be hard to stop that train. I think that it would be hard to stop that train. We'll discuss it a lot more later on today with everybody else.
Ooh, we got another super chat. It says it's from RSS Studio. Real smart. It's in quotations. Real Sean Smart. He says, "This is awesome. My first live."
Thank you so much for joining us, Sean. It's
Nice.
a pleasure to meet you. It's a pleasure to have you. A pleasure to have you guys all here. And look, it's good to be back talking about Power Rangers. I was talking to Jezer earlier, and I was telling him, like, man, we haven't done this in a long time. And I was actually getting, this is really weird, but I was getting kind of nervous about doing this.
And it was great. We had a little meeting with everybody that's part of the show right now, and like it was just fun talking about it. It was just fun talking about some of the crazy stuff that's happening. Got a little group chat going, and as soon as that news came out, like,
Yeah, that was definitely threw a wrench into a lot of our plans.
Yeah.
But I will say this version of the Ranger wrap-up that you guys are going to be seeing, it is going to be a lot of people, a lot of Ranger Nation, a lot of Ranger fans are going to be contributing to this show. And we're also going to be spotlighting some cool content creators that you guys should be checking out.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing a Ranger Nation spotlight. That'll be coming up on future episodes of this. But man, it's good to be back, right?
Yeah, it is. But for let's say there's some videos that's coming up, and these are little snippets of some of the content creators' videos. So if you guys want to check out the full versions of their stuff, the links are in the description. Everybody's link is in the description for this week. So be sure to check all of their content out. It's like great. I think the reason. You know what I was saying in the chat? We kind of created, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. We kind of created a little Illuminati group. We all need those big silver chairs and sitting over and just kind of like trying to not control, but
Yeah, you were gonna use that one.
I know. I don't know. Continue.
Yeah, no, it is good to be back. It's good to be talking to Ranger Nation live. We haven't done this in a long time, and it's crazy because that little group chat. It's interesting because when you don't talk to a lot of people about Power Rangers, because I don't have a lot of Power Ranger friends besides my Illuminerdi people and then a handful of my Ranger Nation friends, but it's not like I talk about it every day in my everyday life, and it is kind of refreshing just talking about it, exploring Power Rangers.
Ooh, we got another super chat. Who is this from? This one's from Thomas DeCoste. Will the MMPR reunion special still move forward?
Thomas, thank you so much for your super chat. We'll be chatting about that later on in the show. for the Ranger Nation discussion part of the show. But you know what? I have a question for you a little bit, Jezzer. Are you following anything with the Super Sentai?
Am I following anything with the Super Sentai? I haven't caught up on the Super Sentai since was before Zenkaiger.
Oh, wow, I was gonna ask you if you've watched Dawn Brothers or Zenkaiger.
No, I have not. But we did have Heirloom and Bryn get us through some of these Super Sentai seasons, doing a little recap, and I think we got Heirloom.
Yeah, here's a member of our Henshin Hangout team, Heirloom, running down the latest for Dawn Brothers.
Hey Ranger Nation, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to talk about why I want to see Dawn Brothers adapted into Power Rangers, yet we need it. We goddamn need this. I think it needs to be done. I think it's a fantastic series so far. But before we jump into this conversation, if you'd like to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, as well as that cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop, let's just jump straight into it. Now, so far from what I've seen up to 4 episodes, I wrote this after episode 2, so I'm going to try and add some more stuff into it. I generally think that this is what Power Rangers needs. I feel like if you're going to make it for the kid element for people, or just really take the piss with it, I feel like Dawn Brothers would be the most perfect Sentai, because it has fun in it. It has some serious moments, don't get me wrong, but I feel like you could really turn around and have a lot more fun and be more carefree with it, even with the silly CGI, or even with Rangers and turning into past Rangers. Yet we know that there's only like a limit to where Gokaiger was, so you could change some of the Rangers in and out and redo your own footage, and I feel like that's something that we would need, and it's fun compared to when Zenkaiger could use the past abilities of every Ranger, yet we didn't see any of the normal Rangers that we're up to, like from Mighty Morphing all the way up to obviously Dino Fury. They used it slightly, but it was more concentrated on the kind of finale and stuff like that. Like finale, but like past stuff from like the Go Ranger onwards. So it was kind of hard, but Dawn Brothers has that ability where you could take 2 teams out and replace it with past teams, Mighty Morphing, or 3 teams. You could do whatever you wanted, and I feel like that is something that we all need in general. So I would love to see this adapted, because I think it would fit in with the idea when people think, oh, Power Rangers is silly. I feel like it fits in perfectly much later on. But yeah, I kind of think that you could do this. I think it would be a perfect Sentai to adapt, and it'd be fun. That's generally what I kind of like. But I'm going to leave it there. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that Dawn Brothers would make a brilliant Power Ranger series, or would you like it never to be touched, blah, 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 or do you think it can't be done? Let me know down below in those comments. And if you like this sort of video and you want to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, as well as turn on all notifications, that would be great. It helps the entire channel grow. And if I don't see you tomorrow, then I'll see you in a couple of days.
チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。
So Heirloom, how are you?
Hello. I'm not too bad. How are you?
I'm doing great. So you love Dawn Brothers. This is a thing that you would love to see for the 30th anniversary?
I would, like 100%. I think it's a fun series, and compared to where Zenkaiger, where it's like, what was it? It was so kind of serious to some degree. I'm way over here too. But yeah, I think it would be absolutely perfect for it. It just embodies a lot of the good stuff.
Right. Let me ask you. Oh, we did also have another super chat, by the way. That was from the Blur. He says, "Welcome back. It's finally good to see you guys. It is good to see you too, the Blur." Dawn Brothers or Zenkaiger? Let's just say Heirloom, if you had to choose between a 30th anniversary adaptation from the Super Sentai, let's say they went in those directions, which one would you be choosing?
If it's either Zenkaiger or Dawn Brothers by 100%, because it's fun and funny, which I didn't expect, and has that hint of seriousness. So if that one, but if we're doing it a full-on 30th season, Lupin Ranger versus Power Ranger, any day.
Really?
Yeah, I think it had a lot more interesting camera angles out of everything that you could do, and it had like kind of suspense as well. So I think it could be done if you change some of the elements in it. But I would have gone for Lupin Ranger versus Pata Ranger like any day of the week.
Really? Now, for fans that are people that are fans of the Super Sentai, Dawn Brothers, why, if they're not watching Dawn Brothers, why should they be?
I think it, in a way, it's like Gokaija, like 2.0. But I feel like the storyline is so different. The way that I see it is it's shot like a J drama, and that's never been done before, where it has the elements of past Rangers, but it's not, if you're not really kind of into, like, say from Go Ranger to say anything upwards, say pre-Go Kaija, then this has everything. So you'd be like, oh, I know them, I know that one, and you can get behind it. And plus it's just generally slightly different, a bit dark, which I've got to admit I wasn't expecting, but I just feel like it has a lot more to offer than some of the past seasons that I've already seen.
Is this season darker, or is it just more mature than other seasons, it seems like, or the storytelling just better?
I think it's a mixture. So there's like, in one of the episodes you have like the Pink Ranger, and he loves his wife like so much, where he just turns around and he kills someone because they went after it. So the whole premise, if you've not seen it, is that you have people that get kind of, they have like the not inner demons, but they'll have like the bad guys of the series, and they'll like kind of like overrun their emotions or something. So in one episode, this guy wants to draw the perfect person, and he finds the wife of the Pink Ranger. So he kidnaps her, ties her up, and then literally, as soon as the Pink Ranger finds out, he goes after this person. And then when the bad guys are about to kind of win, this one guy comes in, kills the monster. And then the Pink Ranger's at the end going, yeah, if anyone hurts my wife, regardless of who it is, I'm going to end them. And I'm like, oh, okay. Didn't expect to see that in a kid's show, but I kind of dig it.
This sounds a little intense for Super Sentai. We did get another super chat. This is from the Blur again. He says he would choose, is that Zyuohger. Mark, Heirloom, do you think that Zyuohger would work for a 30th anniversary?
I've not watched it. I got really bored of it really quickly.
Why? Really? Is that right?
Yeah, I only watched the anniversary where it came up with the Gokaija team up, and I watched one or two of the other episodes. I just really couldn't get into it. I think it's maybe because you had, like, I thought all the way through the series you're going to have them with like animal masks on all the time, and that was going to be the main premise. I was like, I'm not kind of liking that, but obviously they have the human form. So I never kind of watched it. I just know the Red Ranger has a massive whale gun and just like can take out the moon. And I was just like, that's something. That's going to be fun to edit in Power Rangers, if that makes it.
Jessica, go to the wide. Quick question. I'm going to switch gears here for a second. Ryu Soldier was the adaptation for Dino Fury. Are you caught up on Dino Fury, Mark?
Yes, I literally watched all the episodes straight off as soon as they kind of aired.
Thoughts so far?
I really like it. The storytelling is a lot better. I think even like the opening shot, like every single time that you watch Power Rangers, you notice these certain shots, but you have like Zeta just cheesing it over a roof, and he just jumps someone, and you're like, oh, that's new. Or you have different camera angles that they've experimented. So I kind of thought, since they shifted over to Netflix, they were like, well, we'll change something different. We have more money now, but apparently it's still the same budget. And I was like, oh, okay. Nickelodeon wouldn't like this. They'd be like, oh, you've got to have them stand in a line.
Right. Ranger Nation, if you guys are watching Dino Fury, I would love to get your guys' thought on this. I mean, I've caught up. I've watched it twice, I think. I watched it a couple times, the full second season. So far, so good. I really, really, really like Dino Fury. It's a really good cast. It's a really good season.
Yeah, I think it's great. Like at first I was a bit, but then over time it's gotten a bit better. I want to know why Amelia wears that jacket or really long sleeve jackets all the time. just why?
She's got tattoos.
Yeah, they're like cartoon characters, right? Does she really have tattoos?
No,
she does not.
I thought
look,
that.
we had a chance to talk, or I had a chance to talk to the Dino Fury cast, Russell Curry and Chance Perez, and they really dive deep into what's coming up on Power Rangers Dino Fury. Let's check it out. Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 2 is currently airing on Netflix. We got the first 11 episodes Russell Curry, Chance Perez, the red and black Dino Fury Rangers, respectively. Thank you guys so much for joining me. There's a lot to talk about, guys. Fantastic beginning of this first second half of the season. Amazing job. I'm going to start right with you, Russell, because something that we got in Power Rangers was a pretty hard emotional scene that we got between your character and Tarek. I got to talk about that scene in particular because it actually really did move me. My daughter was almost on the verge of tears for a second. Can you talk to me about that scene and what went into that scene and what you wanted to bring to that scene that wasn't necessarily on the page?
Man, well, first off, Joe, thank you so much, man. It's good to see you.
You too.
Always good to see you. Always good to talk to you. And hearing that was the reaction to that scene just warms my heart so much. I was very nervous about that day. I was probably preparing for that multiple days in advance. And yeah, I personally am not a person that is drawn to anger very easily. Zato is the same way. And it was a lot of work of finding, what is it that gets him to that point? What is it that really lights that fire for him to confront him and for him to confront Tarek in that way? Mm-hmm. And that was a lot of work. I think Chance can remember that I was like, don't talk to me. Sorry, I got to get in the zone. It's not personal. I still love you, man. So it was probably at that point one of the most challenging scenes I'd ever done. But man, to hear that that's the reaction, it all paid off, man.
Oh,
awesome.
Absolutely. I was quite surprised just by the depths of where the show went. It's not something that we're used to seeing in a kid's show, let alone Power Rangers, but here we are, man. It feels like we're really taking some of the governors off and going forward. Chance, same thing to you, mainly because in season 1, there is an episode called Matchmaker, which is quite historic for many reasons. It's an episode that I thought was handled extremely well, and it really made me proud in that moment, probably the most proud I would say to be a Power Ranger fan just in general. And made a lot of steps were taken forward with that episode specifically. So I have to ask, because I got to really watch that with my little girl and experience that with her, which was really cool. So for you, what does that episode mean to you?
I mean, I think I love how it was done, because like this is the real world, and like people fall in love with whoever they want to fall in love with, and for that to be on the screen for Power Rangers and for that show, and like to introduce it to people who may have never even like thought of this concept, and do it in such a way where it's not like in your face, it just happens naturally. Like I thought it was so beautifully done. So it really meant a lot, like being a part of that. And I know it meant a lot, like to the rest of the cast as well, and especially to Tessa, who gets to play that role and bring that to the screen and bring that to life for so many individuals. Yeah, it's very special.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I gotta jump in. Chance, you were so phenomenal in that episode, man.
Oh,
you're so good,
bro.
Yeah. Absolutely. You really
While we're complimenting each other, Russell, I want to go back to that day. He was like, yeah, seriously, don't talk to me. Like he's like, I love you, but not right now. And like it was so powerful being there in that room, like watching Russell get into that mindset, because like he said, Zato doesn't blow up like that.
Yeah.
And like Russell as a person is very kind and loving and gentle, and like he's not an angry guy. And so to see that side come out, it was really powerful. So kudos to you, man. Well done.
Well done. Absolutely. And Russell, I have to ask you, is there anything you personally wanted to add to Zato, whether it be characteristic or story-wise, that wasn't in the original scripts?
There were a lot of things that we came up with as time went on. And I think the humor aspect, like anything that's, well, not anything that's funny, but a lot of the things I'm most proud of that I got to craft together with our writers and our directors and Simon as the time went on were Zato's really funny moments, in my opinion. So for instance, episode 2, I'll just give you two quick ones. Episode 2 of season 1, when we're talking to Warden Garcia and he shows was this their vehicle? And he does the drawing. It was mine and Charlie's idea for Zato to be like, no, that wasn't in the script. So very, very proud of that. And also episode 2 of season 2, when we were doing the table read, we had the whole back and forth about the wheelie joke, Ion
Oh,
saying
yeah.
like, yeah, it'll be wheelie cool.
Right.
And in the table read, I just was moved to say be wheelie careful, which wasn't written in the script. And they were gracious enough to say that, yeah, we can record that, Russell. Just keep goofing off. Why not? We'll reward you
Those
for it.
table reads, we would always throw stuff like that in there, and like if it got a laugh, they would usually write it in, and like it was so
Yeah.
cool, like working with them in that way.
I love
So
that.
collaborative. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
amazing.
Actually, I want to speak about that a little bit, mainly because since we're on the topic of scripts and writing, it's usually New Zealand writers writing for American actors. So with you guys being American, do they kind of reference to you guys and say, you know what, this might not, this is what I think it sounds like. Maybe does it sound right to you guys? Is that a way to help kind of inform your characters as well?
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying in those table reads, and it's very collaborative. And something that they always did was at the end of every single table read would be like, is there anything that stood out that didn't quite like read as American, like something that you guys wouldn't normally say? And that was something that we did every single table read. So it was really cool because they would always check with us and make sure, like that we were comfortable with those things that we'd be saying and that it read well to the audience.
That's incredible. Now, Chance, you join a small group of Ranger musicians like Kira from Dino Thunder or Antonio and Mia from Samurai. What's your favorite part of combining your two worlds in Dino Fury and music?
I think the instrumentation, like all the stuff that I got to play, was so cool. Like, I don't know if this was discussed in anything, but like I have never played the bass before, or like harmonica or guitar, and even guitar. Like I've been playing guitar since I was in middle school, but like I taught myself like acoustically and like chords and stuff like that. So actually like shredding a solo, never done before. So I had like that moment where Zato and I were on stage and he was handing me like all these different instruments. I learned how to play all those solos like 2 weeks before we filmed it. Wow. So that was something that was really fun and challenging for me as a musician, like to be able to experience something like that. So
with those solos, was that like added extra homework that you had to kind of figure out how to play those?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, because they I think we mentioned earlier, we get like 3 episodes every 2 weeks, and so we got the episodes, and they're like, yeah, you're playing a solo, but you're playing bass, you're playing guitar, and I'm like, oh shoot, I got some studying to do.
Man.
One thing that's very unique to the experience of Power Rangers, and I'm not sure if the general public really knows this, but Chance and I were talking about this a little bit earlier, is that you guys go through a Power Ranger boot camp, but it's not just learning action and stuff. By the end of this, you guys are well-versed in voice acting. You guys are well-versed on set and action, just in general. Nobody can tell me that Power Rangers aren't the hardest working actors in Hollywood. But with all of that being said, especially with the voice acting side, is there anything, whether you were in the booth, that they wanted to keep in and they're like, you know what, that one works? Or has that opened up your passion at all for wanting to dive into more voice acting work, whether it be anime or voiceovers or anything like that? And that one's for you, Russell.
Man, oh my gosh. You hit on something I talked about all the time. I called the experience of shooting Power Rangers University. I mean,
yeah,
we act, we do stunts, we do special effects, we do ADR and voice acting. We do there's like pyrotechnics sometimes. Like we do it all, man. I got hit in the face with shaving or with whipped cream. It's like we do it all, man. And I'm so grateful for that experience. It's so cool. And I think being in the booth and hearing myself and seeing those episodes come together with my voice over that Red Ranger footage, I'm like, oh, we're doing more of this, man. This is we're just getting started over here. So yeah, very excited for that experience to carry over to the future.
Chance, you're no stranger to a music booth. I mean, to a sound booth, but this has to be a little bit different for you, right? A little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was definitely things that I had to take into consideration after doing it for a little while. Is like when during season 1 and we're doing ADR, I would go all out 100%, like all these things, and you like it really takes a toll on your voice if you're not like being careful. So like I like learned a little bit like of like developing that technique throughout season 2, and I ended up having so much fun with it. And like Russell said, watching it back, seeing your voice like on the screen, like, oh wow, like that's how it came off, like during the show. Like, I don't know, there's a really cool play there. And it reminds me of like you said, doing more like stuff in the future, like with anime and stuff, how Johnny Young Bosch
Right.
does all that stuff for those different characters. I'm like, I would love to be able to explore that more in the future.
I mean, I feel like it's such a Power Rangers is really good experience for figuring, if you're in entertainment, for figuring out what you want to do, because there's so many different things you guys are getting thrown at doing that, you know, you'll figure out what you want to do if it's something in entertainment. Now, Chance, this one's for you, or both of you really. When I spoke in the past to the Beast Morphers cast, they told me that they were suggested to watch Power Rangers RPM. Was there any seasons that they recommended that you guys watch ahead of your season?
Not for me.
Okay.
Yeah, not that I recall. I definitely went and did my homework and watched Beast Morphers on my own. Shout out to the Beast Morphers cast. Yeah, they were, first off, they were so awesome in just like shepherding us and helping us along the path, because they were the last ones to do it before us. But yeah, I watched every episode of Beast Morphers just to see where the show was at most recently. So that's one thing that I took upon myself.
It's amazing.
They did a good job.
Go ahead. What was that?
I was just saying they did a great job. I was thinking back to that opening scene with Rory and like his dad, and like going in the limo, and like he played that so well, and I think they all did such a great job with their characters.
Absolutely. Now, some actors, they say, learn something about themselves through empathy with the characters they play. What did you guys learn about portraying these characters? We'll start with you, Russell. What did you learn what did you learn about yourself through playing Zeta?
I think learning a lot more about leadership. You know, I had been a person who had taken on leadership positions, I guess, in the past, but I didn't really see myself that way. I'm a younger brother. I'm like the youngest in my family. So I never really saw myself that way. So I got to see how much of a leader I can be. And it was a great experience. I've grown a lot from that alone.
How about you, Chance?
I'd say that's something that Javi is not really afraid to do, is like rise to the occasion and be courageous in the moments that he feels are necessary. And like in watching him do that, and like in playing that in my character, it's allowed me like to kind of like speak up for myself a little bit more when I feel uncomfortable about something, or like something's like, you know, making me a little anxious or whatever, that I'm able to express that. Because like sometimes it's easier just to be like, okay, I'm not going to say anything, I'm just going to let it pass, whatever. But like it's good to speak up for yourself, and that's something that he taught me.
So you guys are the first season to really break away from the traditional television programming every weekly kind of thing. Dino Fury is on Netflix. It's streaming first 11 episodes, and I'll be honest with you, it's a faster experience, but it's a more gratifying and rewarding one, especially as you're binging it through. And believe me, having a 6-year-old just being able to fly through the episodes and then watch them back, there's a huge benefit in that. Can you talk to me about the benefits of Power Rangers Dino Fury being on Netflix now? And that's for either one of you.
Wait,
I think the name recognition is kind of cool.
Yeah, where is it again? On what?
Right.
Yeah. When people find out, like when I get to tell them, like, oh yeah, I did Power Rangers, no big deal, and then they're like, where can I watch it? I say, Netflix. It's pretty cool. I like it.
I mean, it is a nice little flex there. It's like, hey, we're streaming on Netflix, you know?
It's cool. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, because this season too, or the second season of Power Rangers Dino Fury, you guys really take the governor off of the action. The action is off the charts, and it really seems like there's a lot more just big action sequences. Can you talk to me about season 2 stepping its game up for the action side of things? That one's for you, Chance.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely. Are you shaking your head, Russell?
Yeah, I'm just like, it's so much. It's so
I
crazy.
thought you're like, don't spoil anything.
Oh no, we're pros. We got this.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, like you said it really well. Like the action really ramps up, and something that we were talking about, like with the action, and this is kind of like backpedaling to season 1, but Zed coming into it. Like you see a lot more action from him than you have in any of the previous Power Rangers. Like,
Absolutely.
he's zapped people before or like turned them into, whatever. But like here you get to see him in hand-to-hand combat, like punch somebody up into the sky and then knock them across the field. And like, it's those kinds of things that really like, I don't like take you back for a second. You're like, whoa, this is really intense. Like it's cool seeing that. And it gets way crazy in season 2.
Power Rangers Dino Fury, it seems like it's used less and less of its predecessor film from Ryu Soldier. Do you think that Power Rangers is moving in a direction now where they can do more and more either in-house Hasbro production rather than relying so much on the Super Sentai? And that's for you, Russell.
I'm so sorry. My
You didn't hear
audio
anything
cut
I
out
said.
for that. I caught the very end of that. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I was just saying that in Power Rangers Dino Fury, it seemed Simon Bennett went on to say that you guys use less and less footage than your predecessors before you with the Super Sentai footage. Do you think that, especially with being on Netflix now, do you think we're getting into an area where we're becoming less reliant on the Super Sentai footage and really, 30 years of creativity put into, Power Rangers standing on its own without the Super Sentai?
Yeah, it's definitely the direction that we headed with season 2, especially. It's really, really great to see our amazing stunt team just make everything their own and create these amazing action sequences. And we have a really cool mix because our second unit directors, we had Yuji, who's been on Power Rangers since day 1, which being on set with him and with a legend who created something that I loved growing up is like, oh my gosh, Yuji-san. So amazing. And then we have Kenji, who is brand new to Power Rangers. It's his very first time. And he brings like this freshness and all of these crazy things that I'm just like, how did you think of that? So it's great to just see those guys shine and our entire stunt team and stunt performers shine and make it their own.
If I may, Kenji on it was like during the first week of us doing the training, like I remember him, okay, like you're gonna and then you're gonna punch him in the stomach. I'm like, okay, really punch him. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, punch him as hard as you can. And I'm like, are you sure? He's like, they're stunned up, or like they're like stuntmen, do it. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I hit him really hard, and he's like, oh, okay, again. And he's like, I want to create a new kind of ranger. I'm like, what do you mean by that? I want the intensity to be shaking your hands. And like, just like, I'm getting really into it, but like, just like seeing him like so passionate about what he wants these rangers to be and like what he wants them to embody. Like, I knew it was going to be something special from the jump.
That's crazy. Yeah, there's this scene with Zato that's running on the rooftops, and I was like, whoa, like this is something new. I haven't seen something like this in a long time, Power Rangers. So that was pretty cool. I do have a question. We'll start with you, Chance, on this one, and then we'll go to you, Russell. I don't know. Have you guys finished ADR yet first for season 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I know usually ADR takes place after the filming. Has there been a point yet when you finished up your ADR from the second season and you let it sink in that, you know what, like I'm like Dino Fury is essentially done. Like I'm done with this for now. Has that sunk in for you yet?
Yeah, it was a sad day, man. It was a tough moment to be there and just know that it was my last time going into that booth. But it was bittersweet at the same time. And I'm so proud of what we did. That was really what came over me the most.
How about you, Chance?
I'm right there with Russell. Like it was, so much fun. Everything about it. There was no bad moments for Power Rangers. Like we had just the most wonderful time.
Yeah,
look,
seriously.
You guys shot this. Well, it was really airing, and you guys shot this kind of before this pandemic was going on, and I guess even kind of into it in New Zealand. It's a snapshot. It's really a snapshot of what the world was going through, especially with your unique experience being in Power Rangers. What's the biggest thing you're going to be taking away from your experience in New Zealand, the state of the world, and doing this show that's been going on for almost 30 years now?
That's a tough question to answer, Joe. Oh my gosh. The main thing that sticks out to me is that I tell people all the time, we were there from September of 2020, just like the height of COVID pandemic up until June of 2021, when things started to normalize a little bit back home. And New Zealand, we barely had to think about COVID out there. And I say all the time that the five of us Rangers that traveled there, because Tessa already lived there, the five of us Rangers that traveled from the States to New Zealand are five of the luckiest people on the entire face of the planet. And yeah, that's something I'm never going to forget that. That's just the craziest thing to think about.
Absolutely. It's something that we never took for granted. And we would talk about like every other day or every other week, just like how precious those moments were to be there in with the world in the state that it was in. So yeah, we're very grateful.
Russell, Simon Bennett directed the last 2 episodes of Power Rangers Dino Fury season 2. 2 questions I have for you. 1, can you talk to me about working with him as a collaborator? And 2, what does his directing style add to Power Rangers?
Oh man. Oh, I cannot say enough amazing things about Simon Bennett. Oh my gosh. I am so grateful to him for putting this together, for bringing us all together and just being such a visionary for this show. He wasn't originally going to direct any episodes. So he's a legendary director in New Zealand. For anybody who has not seen his previous work, go look it up. He directed episodes on Power Rangers already before becoming the showrunner for our show. And you know, it was such a privilege to get to work with him at all, because he is such an incredible director. And him being on set as a director, he just has such a patience, but that vision, and he knows exactly how to communicate with actors because he went to drama school himself. He's a very like actor centric type of creator, and he knew exactly how to communicate with us the best way possible. And man, he just, it's an inspiration to be around that guy. Like I said, I can't say enough good things about him.
It's amazing. Chance, did you want to add anything to that?
I think Russell said it all.
Sorry, I talk so much. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Look, we're on the precipice of the 30th anniversary of this iconic show that's obviously gone on for 30 years. There's so many rumors swirling around what could be happening, what might be happening, who could be coming back, who might be coming back. But let's take all that away. What are the chances that you guys would want to reprise your roles of Zeta and Javi for the 30th anniversary? You know, because we've already had one giant epic Dino team up with the Mighty Morphin Rangers, the Dino Charge Rangers, the Dino Thunder Rangers. It just seems to me that the Dino Fury Rangers, you know, they should be a part of that too, right? 30 years?
I don't disagree with you. That would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're asking if we would want to do this again, I mean, no questions asked. Who wouldn't want to keep being a Power Ranger? That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, there's so many rumors, there's so much out there. We have no idea, but yeah, we'll just wait and see, man.
Well, you guys good to answer a couple Twitter questions real quick?
Absolutely.
All right. So we got a Robert Amaya 91 on Twitter. He asks, what can we expect from the second half of season 2? Either one of you guys.
Go ahead, Chance.
I think you can expect a lot of character growth, a lot of definitely a lot of action for sure. And like some situations that you wouldn't quite expect that teaches our Rangers some lessons that, you know, puts them in situations where they got to grow up in different ways that you didn't see coming. So it's really something to watch for sure.
We have another one from Twitter. Fighting Fire on Twitter asks, what was your favorite thing to shoot, whether it was solo or with your fellow Rangers? And then that one will be for you, Russell.
Ooh. I think our first morph sequence with all 6 of us was really cool. Gosh, there's so many things. It's really impossible to choose. I think our last episode was probably my favorite thing to shoot overall, because yeah, I mean, I can't say anything else about it, but the way everything comes together is pretty great.
I love it. Tara Keep asks, if you could team up with any past Ranger, who would you choose? We'll go to you, Russell.
I want to say Jason and Tommy. Let's bring them both back. Yeah, we're talking about a Dino team up. Like, yeah, that would be epic.
Yeah. Also, all Red Rangers at some point in your Power Ranger career? And the last question came from Alan Clifford. He says, this one's for you, Chance. What impact has Power Rangers had on your life the most?
Oh, wow. I think something that it taught me as a kid was that classic saying that first you don't succeed, then try again. And Power Rangers, like it really embodies that. And like they don't always succeed the first time, but they never give up. And that was something that it taught me when I was a child. So probably that.
Guys, Power Rangers Dino Fury is airing currently right now on Netflix season 1 and the first half of season 2. I can't wait for the second half of season 2. I was telling Chance earlier, so many cliffhangers that need to be addressed. I want to see where this goes. And believe me, my 6-year-old wants to know even more. Trust me. But guys, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, guys. Pleasure.
Thank you so much. Always a pleasure, Joe.
Thanks,
Have a good one.
That was fun. That was a fun little chat with the Dino
fun.
Fury cast. Are you excited about Dino Fury season 2?
Yeah, I just kind of want to see
Season 2, part 2.
I just kind of want to see where they leave off.
Where do you think it's going?
I think it's going to a surprise. I mean, why would they bring in Zed if they're not going to use him?
Well, you have to assume that Lord Zed is going to be making his return.
Yeah, he just walks away.
Another character too that I'm assuming is going to play a major part in Dino Fury season 2, part 2 would have to be Mick.
Yeah.
Mainly, I don't feel like we saw Mick
also.
Really well. I think that would be a good fun one. What are you hoping to see though?
Redemption for maybe Void.
Yo, Tarek is a dope character.
Yeah.
Too. I'm gonna say the Void Knight and the Void Queen.
You know what? I was kind of disappointed when they got rid of Void Knight.
I know.
Yeah.
The Void baby.
The Void child.
Get in our head. I don't know if everyone else can hear. But yo, I have a question. So let's go to the chat.
Okay.
Guys, Ranger Nation, how are you guys feeling about Dino Fury season 2? And what do you want to see from Dino Fury season 2 part 2? Because I think that there's a handful of things that we need to wrap up. And the one thing I do like that it's on Netflix is that we can tell longer form stories in Power Rangers, which I think is fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely hyped for that. I'm hyped for a change of format. I feel like it's time. It's time.
What do you mean a change of format?
Maybe like 22 minutes isn't enough for each episode. I feel like.
I think 22 minutes is going to be the norm. I think that I don't know. You think you want it to be longer?
Unless they change the story up where they can tell more story.
All right, well, let me ask you this. If it's longer, you can't go as formulaic as it has been, because it's always like, all right, here's the issue. Let's confront the issue. Let's fight. Let's learn a lesson, and let's wrap it up.
Yeah, maybe.
But obviously, especially with Void Knight and Void Queen, I feel like we're really getting to stretch out a little bit storyline. We do have another super chat.
We do.
This one's from the Blur again. Thank you so much, Blur. He says, "Do you think Dino Fury will use Ryu Soldier's story in the finale?" I never saw Ryu Soldier. So I didn't finish
it. I didn't finish it yet. Yeah. I mean, it's possible, but as we saw, like throughout the first season, even season 2A, they haven't been really using too much
Super Sentai footage.
The thing that I noticed about it too is like they've been reusing a lot of monsters like throughout the season. Like, oh, they're back. Like this year, the common phrase for the Rangers, like, oh, they brought them back. And it's like, did they run out of suits? What's going on here?
I will say this though. I think the writing for Dino Fury is a step up from what we had previously been
Beast
getting.
Morphers?
The only reason is because there's certain jokes that land now, because I watched this with Mia now, and like she got into Dino Fury hard.
But maybe you're like dad mode now. So
I am
like
a little bit in dad mode.
You laugh at dad jokes.
Listen, Chris and I talk about this on occasion from time to time a lot now because we're both fathers. But I think that like we'll watch it, and there's certain, like, first of all, I love the character Mucus. I'm going to say this right now. I absolutely love Mucus.
I loved that character in Ryu Soldier too. Like, it was a fun character.
I love Mucus. But there's certain things, and so I was thinking about this. I think my favorite Dino Fury Ranger is Javi. And I think it's only because, like, he's almost like this joke is corny, and I'm going to call it out Ranger.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, just playing the corny joke. I really like Javi's character. And I also
like that episode where he had all the instruments, and he had to, like, play all of them.
That was great. I think, honestly, I think that dude's a pretty talented performer.
Nice. Also, Tarek's great.
Tarek's fantastic. I do like when Power Rangers uses human villains,
Yeah.
or even in this case, an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Because I guess it makes you connect a little bit deeper on another
does.
level a bit. Do you have any fan theories for Dino Fury Season 2 Part 2?
Like I said, Zed. I think Zed's going to play a big part in, I don't think that Tarek is going to be that monster that he is too long. I think he's going to come back. But I think Zed's going to be a big part as far as where the hierarchy of the villains are,
Well, we do have a fan theory of the week from Dan from Fan Club.
Yep.
Let's go to it.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Fan Club. You might be watching this on the Fan Club channel. You might be watching this via the Illuminerdi. Shout out those guys and the team over there. We're working together, and I wanted to do a really fun fan theory for the fans. And we've been talking about Power Rangers Dino Fury all year now. The second half is coming. We don't know when, but we have 11 episodes left. And I believe that there is a chance that Tarek could become good again, and he could team up with the Rangers and change his suit from that purple Void Knight armor to a bronze armor. Now, in the counterpart Sentai, we have a bronze knight. We have a brown, okay? And so I believe that we are going to use that suit, except this time, I don't think it's going to be called brown. I think it's going to be bronze. I think it just sounds a lot cleaner, a lot smoother. Bronze Knight. Now, could there be a morph sequence? That was my number one question when I saw this. Could we have a morph sequence and he can morph with the Rangers? My other question is, how does he get this power? I believe there's something to do with him being Amelia's father. And I believe that he's gonna have to destroy her, and he fights against it. And this is just a fan theory, guys, just a fan theory. But what if he fights against it and becomes good again? What if they use the split emitters? How does Void Knight become good? How does he become back to his old self? Because he's Void King right now, and it is crazy. It is fun to watch this guy, but I don't know exactly how he's going to come back to Tarek, but that's my feeling. My gut feeling is we are going to need more help against Void Queen and possibly Lord Zed if they bring him back. You know it's only going to get tougher, and the enemies are going to be stronger these last 11 episodes. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. If this is your first time watching a video, welcome to the Fan Club. My name is Dan. We talk Power Rangers and a little bit of everything on this channel. It's good vibes. Come on over, squat it up. We love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. We want to hear what you think in the comments. Let us know. Y'all have a great day. Peace. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscription button, and also hit that notification bell to stay in the algorithm. Do you guys support the Fan Club? You want to help us make our next episode and keep this show running? Well, check out our brand new Fan Club t-shirts. These are on our Square site. Go check that out. Go check us out on all social media platforms. And thank you for rocking with us, guys. Peace.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dan from the Fan Club. This is the Ranger Nation discussion panel where we're going to be talking about the 30th anniversary. Before we get into that, though, we did have a couple super chats. AH says, call me crazy, but I think moving forward, and this ties in the 30th anniversary, for the 30th anniversary / reboot, Zord shouldn't be used in every episode. Save them for the finale or big events. I'd even argue less suit fighting. Give me more story over
Joe,
formula.
he's with you. I know you hate Zord fights.
I do.
You hate it.
I'm not a big Zord guy. I'm not a big Zord fight fan.
I like seeing new Zords. I don't like.
Yeah, here's the reason why. Okay, here's the reason why. It's because, honestly, Transformers does it better. So if Power Rangers is going to do big mecha fights, at least make it competitive enough where it's going to look like Transformers, or at least look comparative to Transformers. The other super chat we had is from Frank Pimentel. He says, I'm surprised the second half of Dino Fury is actually doing good. because usually the second half is often not as good as the first. What do you think?
Maybe sometimes, not often. I think they're thinking about Dino Charge.
All right, word. And the Blur, also another super chat. He says, "Would you want an original Dino Fury season 3?" You know what, Blur? More on that later. But in this Ranger Nation 30th anniversary discussion, by the way, you can hit that super chat feature and ask us any questions. We're specifically going to be talking about the 30th anniversary and some of Liz's news, which she talked about earlier, and Austin St. John and how this is going to affect everything. But let me introduce you to everybody. Heirloom is here. Mark, you saw him earlier talking about Super Sentai. Toku Chris, how you doing, my friend?
I love that
break
hat.
his leg earlier, and he has a dope-ass hat on, so that's super cool. And Liz. How you doing, Liz?
That intro, you killed it, Liz. That was amazing.
That was good.
So much fun.
You had me and Jezzer. It feels good to be talking Power Rangers again, right?
Yeah.
All right, so Frank has another super chat. Or is this the same one? He says,
No.
I'm surprised the second half of Dino Fury is actually doing good compared to the previous seasons where they just especially the Neo Saban. I think that's a sentiment that certain people have had. I think Dino Charge was one of those type of seasons. So let's talk about the 30th anniversary, though. Yeah, right? Go ahead. Oh, that's true. Ninja Steel as well. I will say, though, Dimensions in Danger I really liked a lot, though. In terms of, like...
It had a lot of potential, for
you
sure.
didn't like it? Compared to what we had gotten previously. You don't think it was bad? Or that was good?
I liked when he had the Falcon Zord, but, like, I don't know. It was kind of just felt weird. I keep going back to the meme where, like, Steve Cardenas is just waking up from that little thing. He's like, "Wah."
All right, well, let's talk 30th anniversary a little bit, because I know that's something that everybody wants to know about, and they don't care about it. We'll talk about something else. Talk about Lightning Collection. Now, 30th anniversary, though, so we're right around the corner from it, and there's a lot of things that were floating. Let's start off with the big thing, because the biggest thing that we can talk about is this Austin St. John indictment, we'll call it. Chris, this one's going to be for you. Austin St. John, well, I mean, I don't want to go much into, like, the legal woes of this. I mean, Liz hit it great at the top of the show. But with all this going on, does this impact Austin St. John's chance to return for the 30th anniversary?
We're muted, apparently.
You're back now.
There you are. Does this impact Austin St. John's chance for any kind of return for the 30th anniversary, Chris?
Well, I mean, is he allowed to leave the country? Because they're supposed to leave in like a month or something, right? So, I'd say definitely it does. I mean, as far as like with Saban, obviously it was very family oriented, right? Like no issues with family stuff. Anything that was deemed unfamily friendly was kind of like, yeah, no thanks, we're good. Hasbro, I don't quite know where they go, because this is really the only live action show Hasbro has their hands in at all. So there's really not a precedent to follow. But I would have to imagine that anything that's going to cause a problem is just going to be a problem that's whisked away, so to speak, especially when you have a Steve Cardenas in the background who was also a Red Ranger in Power Rangers and Mighty Morphin. It's very easy to be like, oh, Austin or Jason couldn't make it because he's the Omega Red Ranger. He's in space. Thanks, Boom Studio. They have plenty of ways to write themselves out of that corner.
Liz.
I mean, how many peace conference jokes did you see at 30th anniversary? It's still the peace conference.
Hey, actually, you had a tweet that went kind of viral in Power Rangers. Liz, you want to talk about that for a second?
Oh, I was just being dumb, and I just said, well, great, now that I said, now when someone mentions the Red Ranger that went to prison, we're gonna have to ask them to specify, because it is not. We have had some Red Ranger issues. I know we're talking about 30th or Austin Jar now, but between Bling Empire with Megaforce, Super Megaforce Red.
Did you watch that?
And Dina, and now Austin St. John, and it's like Pua, that whole thing. Like,
I did not have Austin St. John committing wire fraud for $200,000+ on my 2022 bingo card this year. I'm going to be honest with you.
It was definitely not something I saw coming as well. But let's talk about some of these deeper elements in the 30th anniversary. So one thing that we can reveal now is I may as well just put this out there now.
Oh, here we go.
Austin St. John we already talked about this. He was asked to come back for the 30th anniversary, and every indication seemed like that was going to happen. Now it definitely seems like that's off the table. But let's talk about the 30th anniversary specifically. I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that Hasbro has planned out. And we're going to start from what we want from a 30th anniversary. And Heirloom, I'm going to start with you. What's something that you like? Let's look, and I hate kind of like what do you want ideally from the 30th anniversary?
Decent storyline. To be fair, I would like to see multiple changes. So very similar to how they did the Gokaiger one, where it was like on a special DVD. If the thing's true with Trini's daughter, like being able to transform, I would love to see like an epic fight scene. And kind of something to lead in to give it a bit of mystery, something to tease us and talk about for years to come, and they never ever conclude it. But I want that.
Chris, question for you. So Jonathan Entwistle, this is something that we've been hearing a lot, that he is out. Do you think that Jonathan Entwistle and the 30th anniversary, will those be two separate projects if they are still working on those concurrently?
I don't see how they would be together in the same project. I mean, Entwistle, as far as everyone understood, was brought on to re-envision the brand going forward. And we have known for a year and a half now that the 30th anniversary was going to be their swan song to the universe that we know, because they view staying in that same continuity, that same universe, as a hindrance. Look at every other brand they have under their belt. Nothing is the way it was from when it first came out. Transformers is not the same universe, so to speak, as it was in the 80s. G.I. Joe is kind of the same way. It's all new, reimagined, the 2020 version or whatever. So I don't think, if Entwistle is indeed out, and I mean, we don't 100% know for sure, right? But if he's out, I think I tweeted it too. It's like, if he's out, was he ever in?
100%.
I mean, is there going to be anything that he started that has anything? Because he was supposed to do the movie, but they don't even have a script. So, no, I don't think he has anything to do with the 30th anniversary. I think that's all on the hands of the New Zealand production team of Simon Bennett. I don't think he has got anything to do with it whatsoever.
We got a couple super chats in. Thomas DeCoste says, do you think they'll turn the reunion special into MMPR as a whole instead of just season 1?
I don't think so.
No.
See,
no, I mean, like, I feel like there's a lot of potential for, it's a crazy theory, and it like might make some people mad, but I think we already were introduced to Yen. I think we were.
I don't think so.
I think that Yen is a placeholder name, like we do for a lot of the casting things.
Wait, so you think that all right, let me ask you a question. This is something you brought up, and I didn't ask, but Simon Bennett, but this is something you brought up. You think we've already seen Yen so far?
Yeah. I think.
I know. You think it's Izzy's girl.
I just thought that. Yeah.
I think that like it'd be a great way to tie the two seasons together and make it kind of cohesive.
It's not a terrible idea, mainly because
that would be cool.
All indications seem to point, and I'm not. This is pure speculation. This isn't breaking any news. Pure speculation. That the Dino Fury cast, it seems like they might be coming back. That's a speculation. Again, this is not news. We're not breaking anything. It's a rumor that we've been hearing about the Dino Fury cast. These kind of things happen all the time. Chris and I can tell you that we hear about these type of things all the time. We did get another super chat from the Blur as well. He says, I think whatever happens with ASJ will not erase the character and can focus on the character just like and still rewatch Smallville with Allison Mack. So what he's saying essentially...
But they're not...
Go ahead, Chris.
They're not making new episodes of Smallville with Allison Mack. That's the problem.
Fact.
Yeah.
That is a fact.
They're trying to make a comic, like an animated comic or something. But I think they should just cast the dude that they had fill in from like in between ASJ and Rocky. That one guy where it's just the back of his head. Or...
There's been some interesting casting suggestions, and we'll leave it at that.
So some of the
why doesn't Jason like looking at the camera? We don't know. It's a spell. He's put under a spell.
Let's talk about some of these story elements for the 30th anniversary. Liz, I have a question for you. So Simon Bennett, it seems like he's doing a fantastic job right now with Dino Fury, and it really seems like Hasbro really likes the work that he's doing. Do you think Simon Bennett can lead the Power Ranger franchise in the future instead of Jonathan Entwistle? And if that's the case, do you still go back on the last 30 years of Power Ranger lore to continue on?
Wow, that's a big question. Without Jonathan Entwistle, I, if he is the one that they say, look, Entwistle's out, Simon Bennett, you're doing a great job, you're going to keep going with it. I think he really has fallen in love with the franchise and with the amount of work he's done to go back and um I don't know, just kind of bring in, I feel like, more elements of everything. I know it sounds weird. Like Neo Saban was very disconnected. This is like in the whole universe. And I feel like he's embracing more of the universe and the older themes. So I think going forward after 30, yeah, they probably would still pull from it, even if it's a brand new show, even if they didn't use source footage. I think he'd still find ways to bring in older elements. And I'd be willing to watch. I like what he's done. He went from not really even knowing what Power Rangers was, 4 years ago, to being in charge of everything now, and we're seeing how well things are going. So at this rate, I'm like, you know what? Give him a few more years, and I'd be happy to see what he does.
Yeah, and this is he has a pedigree in telling dramatic storytelling with his soap operas in New Zealand.
Exactly.
So he can handle that. I'm curious to see how he embraced the campiness of Power Rangers, though, because it seemed outside of his wheelhouse prior to getting the job. But I think he's done a really good job at merging it in with the current season. Also, I feel that Dino Fury is less of that slapstick comedic element to it. We do have another super chat. This one's from Frank again. Frankie. He says, for the 30th anniversary, I would like for someone to a Power Ranger version of Hero Getter Super Sentai song. That would be fun to listen to. I don't know what Hero Getter is.
Heirloom?
Heirloom.
That's the Gokaiger song they play in the credits, where they name every single Super Sentai team in the theme song.
Of the current cast, who do you think would do it?
Exactly.
Do what?
That. Who would do like a dance or like a song?
The current cast that's on right now?
Yeah.
I almost want to say all of them would.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen over in Pasadena, Hunter and them always doing like TikTok dances and stuff. So, I mean...
That's what Power Rangers has been missing. That's the missing key right there. They're not doing dance numbers at the end of each episode.
We need an ending dance.
Yep.
Because you can
look
get
how
Jane
well
and
that
Dave
went. Look how well that went with Beast Morphers with
Oh yeah,
the humans.
Yeah, the music episode that was great.
I like that episode.
I love
that.
That was a great one.
Out there, Olivia Tennant directed that episode.
That's crazy.
Bring it back.
30th anniversary heirloom question for you now. Out of what's expected from the 30th anniversary and what you actually think we're going to get. Look, Hasbro or Power Rangers in general sometimes has let us down with these big anniversary type of things. But it does seem like a little bit more might be in the work with this. Are you expecting more this time around?
I'm going to keep my expectations low, because if I go in and go, oh my God, this is going to be the best thing, and it kind of disappoints me, I think the rest of the season might be spoiled a little bit. But if I go in low and be like, all right, can you do it? Like the whole Evox thing they did in Beast Morphers, it was like, and then it blew me away. So I'm hoping if that will happen again with this, with the anniversary. So I'd be like, do you know what? That was actually really well done. So I'm going to go in low, see if I come out on a high. If not, be like, well, they tried at least.
Right. Chris, could the 30th anniversary connect to the finale of Dino Fury? And if it does, do you think that the next season of Power Rangers would tie directly into whatever this 30th anniversary special is?
Well, that's a loaded question, because that depends on what the 30th anniversary is. Like if it turns out to be this whole Trini's daughter thing, then yeah, I think you take that and you run with it, right? Especially if it ends up being popular. And they can just ignore everything that came after Mighty Morphin. It's really easy. They do for the most part anyways. So now do I... in my heart of hearts, no. I don't think... I still think they're dedicated to rebooting, restarting, rebranding, because as much fun as Dino Fury is, the toy presence on the shelves is still very minimal. The show is technically off the air for the first time in its history. It's only streaming now. There's still a lot of things we have to look at from a business standpoint versus what we're enjoying on it. And I don't think that they are going to connect the seasons. I think their goal is still I think their goal is it keeps the goalposts keep moving, so to speak. I think this was the plan to happen by the 30th, and now it's okay. We'll do something for the 30th, which is why this is so last minute. Like, hey, you're gonna come out for eight weeks, just 8 weeks. So no, I still don't think they're going to connect. I think the 30th is the swan song, and then reboot or hiatus.
It's a great way that you just put that, is moving the goalpost, which actually does feel like a thing in Power Rangers, where it seems like we get everything hitting on all cylinders, and then one thing happens, and it all kind of unravels. And I guess this ASJ thing was something that was super unexpected, but it definitely is throwing a wrench into the plan. We do have a couple super chats. The Blur says, do y'all think the next season will be about the Morphin Masters? Liz, do you think next season of Power Rangers is going to be about the Morphin Masters?
I mean, they've introduced them. Like, they're obviously a thing that's fresh in everyone's minds. And if they're going to do something that's trying to celebrate 30 seasons of Power Rangers, the Morphin Masters have a lot of powers, obviously. And that could be a segue to get from one, maybe world to another, or they have to help with something. I would like to see more of them. They might want to make more than one suit for them, but
I like the capes.
I like to see. I think it's a fun concept.
The last team we saw with capes was Mystic Force.
I like capes.
Bring them back.
Another super chat from Only Can Be Me D. I'm super late, LOL, but did you guys already speak on it? JDF would try to lobby for his return to the series for the 30th anniversary series closer. Do you think JDF's going to return, Jezer, for 30th anniversary at this point now?
Do I think?
Yeah.
I want him to, but do I think no?
No, I don't think so either. Chris also thinks it's not happening. Liz, you think JDF's returning?
If they asked him to, I think he'd be on a flight tomorrow, but who knows? Now with the Austin St. John things, maybe they're just going to rewrite the whole dang thing.
Yeah, we got some funds.
And there you go. It's a Tommy tribute again.
It's true. And now that Austin's out, let's be real. There's beef. All right, there's beef, and with him out of the picture and Hasbro kind of favoring ASJ seemingly, with the Beast Morphers thing and stuff like that. I think if Hasbro came up and they're like, "Hey, buddy, do you want to come back and do this?" and maybe we can do a Green Ranger thing for you.
There has to be a million alpacas.
There's that. JDF has to be made. He's gonna want to be made the star because it's not gonna be just like a hey, sorry, can we be friends again? No, it's gonna be like, hey, you got to make me the Optimus Prime of Power Rangers. Let's go.
Is this essentially Hasbro sticking their tail between their legs now and asking, essentially a favor?
Well, I would be honest with you. There's a very good chance that Hasbro, someone's going to have to let them know a week from now why ASJ missed the flight.
That's not a lie.
I'm just being real with you.
It's not a lie. Frankie also says Power Rangers Hero Getter English version. Here's the link if you're interested. Just copy and paste it. See what I'm talking about. Thank you so much. Thomas DeCoste says, when you say Dino Fury cast might be returning, do you mean for third season of Dino Fury might be happening?
Wait, did you say that?
No, I said, look, the cast wants a third season of Dino Fury. Of course they do.
Yeah.
I don't see how they wouldn't want a third season of Dino Fury. Truth be told, I'd want a third season of Dino Fury. But I don't know. I'll say this. I'm not going to say it's not happening. Because I feel like at this point now, anything with Power Rangers especially that team with Dino Fury, it feels like there's more there. Feels like there's more left.
Especially how many episodes left? 11 or something?
12. It's 11, I think, right?
Yeah. So, that's a lot to wrap up in 12 episodes. But that would mean they'd have to come back,
Another super chat says, this is from the Blur. He said, should Hasbro get Steve, Karen, and Johnny for the 30th anniversary? Well, here's another interesting thing, too, that I'm going to reveal a little bit. I know that some of those original Rangers were asked to come back prior to all this news coming out as well. I won't say this is a rumor, I guess. Catherine was asked to come back.
Okay.
You know that. I think Karen was as well. I don't
But
know.
if Karen comes back, does that kind of put a little damper on like the whole?
I don't think so.
Training
I don't know. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say, right? Because we haven't seen. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that story is that they're telling. And also, from everything that we understood, what was happening was that the script was in flux, dependent on who was going to come back. So, we'll say if it was written in, who knows?
You know,
Go ahead.
I have a question real quick, but it's a question for chat, and I'm really curious. So let's fast forward ourselves to September of 2023,
Okay.
the 30th anniversary, whatever it is, has done, come and gone. And let's say that all you have are maybe let's say let's say David's back, let's say they get Walter back, and let's say Johnny Young Bosch comes back, and say nobody else comes back. But we know they were asked. They chose not to come back. Say Amy said no, JDF said no. Is that something for chat for the fans of the brand? Like, is that like how? At what point do you like, hey, like come back and celebrate what you were part of? That's kind of like created your convention career because that's really what's pushing it. Versus, oh well, they didn't offer me enough zeros in the paycheck to come back. Like, how much of it for fans? Like, how much of that are you gonna take as, hey, like why aren't you proud of the fact that you have people that have spent 30 years appreciating everything you've done and wanting to be a part of it, and you don't want to go back to it, but you still want me to pay you $90 for a picture. That's my takeaway. Like, I want to know, like, what is the breaking point for fans? Or like, you know what, maybe these actors just aren't into being on Power Rangers anymore. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you guys
Yeah. I mean,
I get what you mean.
like I feel like a lot of the Rangers that don't want to come back, they're kind of like trying to bring back the things that Saban had done to them, but it's a different company. Like it's like these grudges that that it's somebody else's grudge. So I feel like the fans, they need to do it for the fans.
Well, let's forget about the show for a second and move in another direction for the 30th anniversary. And Chris, I have a question for you because one thing that you're really well versed in is the marketing / action figure side of this, which is such a big part of how Power Rangers as a franchise makes money. So let's talk about this because the 30th anniversary isn't just for the television show. It's a really big opportunity for them to sell more merchandise for consumers. So with everything that we already know about the show, let's table that for a second. Are there products for the 30th anniversary that would blow it out of the water where fans would be like, yes, they nailed it? And do you think we'll get them?
So it's so hard to tell, right? Because I don't know how versed Hasbro is in the actual, brand that they have. I mean, we've seen the continued quality boo-boos and stuff that keep happening just on the most recent releases. So it makes me really scary then to give them the keys and tell them to give me a 30th anniversary item that blows me away. Could they do it? Of course they could. There's plenty of stuff out there that Bandai didn't give us that fans clamored for. I mean, stuff just in recent years even. Do I think they have stuff planned? I don't think they have I don't think they have like a 30th anniversary toy line. I don't think they have anything like that coming. Do I think we'll see obviously something for the convention circuit next year? Yes. Do I think we'll see something for fan channels? Yes. Do I think we'll see product packaging that's got like a 30th anniversary logo? Yes. Do I think we're going to get like a whole new, like an anniversary line? No, I don't. I think I don't want to go as far to say temper your expectations to Bandai and Saban's 25th anniversary, where they just literally took a logo and stamped it on various products and said, that's an anniversary product, hooray. But I don't think it's gonna be that bad, but I do think you're gonna see the 30th anniversary branding. I mean, it obviously that's marketing. You don't even have to market. You just have to be like, hey, guess what? It's our anniversary, and people go, oh, cool, and you put that logo on something, and someone will buy it.
Absolutely.
So
I think like
we'll see.
One thing I can imagine is that they could do civilian Rangers because they could just use the Marvel Legends line, just stick it on and be like, oh look, here it is, here the morphing or something like that, to give the experts thing, and then people will want more of it. But I can imagine that being one of the big 30th lines.
Get ready for Mighty Morph. I mean, if you're hoping to get like an anthology line, no, just get ready. It's gonna be Mighty. If whatever comes out will definitely be Mighty Morphin themed because it's the 30th anniversary of Mighty Morphin, not Power Rangers 30th anniversary. You know what I mean? So it's If you don't like Mighty Morphin, next year's
Right. We have another super chat. This one's from Angelo Blancini. Will the 30th anniversary have to be union for certain actors to come back? I mean, for certain actors to come back, I'm sure it would, but not for these actors. So I'm going to say no. Power Rangers is not going to be union, or at least not.
I think the only union was Walter, but I don't even think he's active anymore. So, no, I don't think any of them, of the Mighty Morphin crew, anyways. I don't think any of them are technically union. And David was very vocal last year, saying he would return if it was a good script and a good story, he'd return. He didn't care about the union; he'd leave. So.
And another thing too that I think there's a big misconception about is there are SAG waivers. So if some of these actors did want to come back and they were union, they can go to SAG and get a SAG waiver to work on non-union things. They would just have to have the same kind of conditions as SAG, which it seems like Power Rangers has anyway. So that's one thing that I think people need to wrap their head around. But all right, so let me ask you guys another question. We're gonna start with you, Liz. What do you actually want? Let's not forget about the 30th anniversary reunion special, but as a 30th anniversary season, what do you want to see? Like, do you want to see an adaptation? Do you want to see something completely original? What do you want the motif to be? What would you like to see?
I think it would be amazing. Honestly, I love Hyperforce.
Yeah.
I'd honestly take like that adaptation and almost make it into a show because it was awesome and it had Time Force elements, it had Mighty Morphin elements, it visited seasons. But I would love some form of way to use the portal and hop dimensions and go into other worlds and it's like Go Kaiser. Just give me stuff of all of the other seasons. But since Arlen mentioned it, yes, I actually do want Lightning Collection figures now of them unmorphed with the morpher in their hand as an accessory.
That'd be great.
It's gonna be
I didn't know I needed that.
5-pack box
and now
set.
I do.
That would be great.
We have another super chat. This is from the Blur again. He says, "Your thoughts on Samuel Benta returning to Morphicon?"
Whoa. Cool. I think he's going there to kind of like clear his name.
There's gonna be a lot of clearing of names coming up soon. Power Rangers. 30th anniversary heirloom. What are you looking for? What do you want it to be?
I would like it to be all original because I feel like the show has reached that point where, like, Dino Fury has always been like it's had more elements of itself. So I would love an entire whole like new set of Rangers, something properly, so that Hasbro can turn around and go, do you know what? We've been kind of like using MMPR for such a long time. Let's actually make this our own brand and put in our own original Rangers and do it. Yeah. So like say, as Liz said, like Hyperforce. I've never listened to Hyperforce, but I would like to see something like that, or something brand new, original, rather than here's Zooja, here's Don Brothers, here's Lupin Ranger versus Pato Ranger. Let's focus on that. And that's what I'd love to see for like an overall 30th. They've paid for a brand. Yeah, it's not gone the way that they wanted at times. So make it their own, because they bought Power Rangers, not Super Sentai and Power Rangers. So yeah, original. I want original.
When you say original, though, do you mean like something completely new, or like an original MMPR season?
Original suits that don't kind of like, obviously they'll look like the Power Ranger stuff, but original suits, original bad guys, even if they don't make Monsters of the Week and they just make, say, here's a human villain. So very similar to what they used to do back in like the old like Sentai days, where it'd be like, there's no monster. So like you could have, say, Scorpina, some of the people back from Masked Rider, or even from VR Troopers, take all this. Even Mystic Knights of TNR No. Bet you didn't think you'd hear that. But like, take all these elements and make their own stuff. Because if I was at Hasbro and I didn't know Power Rangers, I didn't know Super Sentai, and I kept getting these things of like, why are we using stuff from Japan? Why are we using past storylines? Why don't we make our own stuff? And I think that's what I would love to kind of see a lot more, because it shows that if they can make storytelling, do it. If they can make this product, make this brand grow, prove it, rather than have everyone go like, you need Super Sentai to keep that money flowing. We'll prove them wrong. Make something amazing and blow out the water with marketing all the way through.
Chris, how about you? What are you looking forward to, or what would you like to see in the 30th anniversary season?
So I'm that person that people like to hate. So I wanna go animated. And I want to go animated. I want to go animated, and I want to do it in the style, not the artistic style, but the revisionist style that you saw with X-Men Evolution.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Oh,
Where you basically do a complete
that.
retelling. And I've talked about this before, but there's absolutely no reason why you can't have an animated series of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in high school. And oh look, there's a senior named Carter Grayson, and he's
Yeah.
going to be a firefighter. And oh look, there's Tyler. He's the exchange student or whatever. His dad, got lost spelunking. Whatever. And as fans, you immediately go, oh, oh, oh.
Yeah.
But for kids or the youngins who are watching, it's whatever. But then you can release your Mighty Morphin Megazord, right? Because it's new. It's just in an animated style now. And if you want to retell something, and maybe you have a Green Ranger and a White Ranger at the same time, because maybe one's Tommy from the future, then you do that, and it's not a problem. You can do that. You've seen in the Boom Studios where they've had Matt the Green Ranger with Tommy the White Ranger, and they combine the Dragon Zord and Tiger Zord. Do it in the animated show. Make a toy out of it. You're good to go. And it opens up so many different channels of storytelling that they can use, kind of like, say, like Star Wars uses, right? Like you have Obi-Wan coming out, right? And it's going to touch on stuff. So is Ahsoka, when that comes out, that's going to touch on stuff that came out from the Star Wars cartoons that aren't part of the movies, like Rebels and Clone Wars and stuff like that. So I think there's potential there. I think if you trap yourself into one medium for too long, which I think Power Rangers has done, you find yourself in the situation you're in right now. So for the 30th anniversary, I would like to see, for this universe, right? If you want to keep this universe going, re-envision it, take the whole thing and just take it and be like, okay, I'm going to use the same characters, I'm going to use the same basic storylines, the same Zords, the same suits. I'm just going to tell my version of it, but this time all of it in a collective universe that I can cherry pick different elements that I want of it at any time.
That Jazzer, what are you thinking you want to see from the 30th season?
Kind of piggybacking off Toku Chris's stuff, but with like, how the Justice League animated movies are on HBO Max, that style where it's like a little bit grittier, and we get to explore different Rangers and different storylines where it's kind of like off stories. Like it could be MMPR, like the main storyline, but we get to follow other characters as well, and it's different, kind of like Justice League Unlimited.
Bless you, Chris.
Justice League Unlimited or stuff like that. I would love to see some of the comic stories adapted. I'm a big Ninja Turtle fan, so maybe like the crossover. That'd be great to see. I would love to see all that kind of like in animation form.
The Blur says, Toku Chris, are you going to stream for your marathon? You're going to stream your marathon.
My which marathon?
Yeah.
Great question. Great question.
That's a trick question. Yeah, if you let me know what marathon it is, I'll let you know if I'm going to stream.
So from what I would like to see in the 30th anniversary is more like kind of what Liz wanted, is actually following Mick, because Mick talks about meeting other Rangers from other dimensions or whatever. Following Mick, meeting those Rangers from other dimensions in every episode, so it's like essentially like Gokaiger, but he teams up with whatever those Rangers are, whatever they're doing now, or maybe one or two of those Rangers, and have a giant reunion. Every episode's like a new season type of thing that Mick travels to. It would be a lot of fun. And it would tie in what they were doing in Dino Fury a little bit.
If Mick just, I'd love it.
Fun, right?
I'd love it.
Frankie says, I would like to see an animated movie of Shattered Grid. That would be awesome.
Wouldn't they need Kyle Higgins on that?
I think so, right? Yeah. Actually, no, they wouldn't. Chris would know better than anybody. Would they need Kyle Higgins on an animated Shattered Grid movie?
Would they need him? They should need him, but he does not own that story. That's owned by Boom Studios and Hasbro. So all that stuff is all, when you work for a licensed comic book company, you are taking someone else's project and doing stuff with it, but you don't own any of it. So that is the downside to working on a Marvel or a DC, is any idea you come up with, any new character you come up with, whatever, that's not yours. That's
Which
theirs.
is crazy, because Draken has to be probably the most popular character in Power Rangers that was created specifically for like the comics. Crazy.
Everything Kyle Higgins and Ryan Parrott have touched has been nothing but gold. Right. So they are, and Matt Groom now, as he starts writing the comics here, I think everyone will see like the comics are actually in really, really, really good hands. And if you're not reading the comics, you're missing out. Like,
do we ever
give 'em a
wonder
shot.
why some of these comics or some of these comic creators aren't helming some of these shows? And here's another thing too, especially that Power Rangers is on Netflix now. I think that we're always caught up into this whole thing of like, well, there only can be one Power Ranger season running right now. Why can't there be more seasons running concurrently? Why can't there be a Dino Fury season 3 along with whatever they're going to do next, along with something else?
Oh.
I mean, it seems like
Because that's just not how we do it,
it's
apparently.
not how we do it.
Toku Chris, the blur says the Super Mega Marathon from Twitter.
Oh, I'm not the only one who runs that account. So that was not that was my partner Mike. You guys know Mike Toast, Mike.
Yes.
So
Oh, toast.
I know,
yeah,
Mike.
so he ran that thread and stuff like that. So plus I don't know if I would want to marathon stream that because I don't own that, so I don't know where we could watch it without someone
TikTok
hitting you on the wrist.
A couple more super chats coming in. Matthew Thompson says, "I'd like to see something new, an animation, but also not for the 30th. Let it be the final of the original series / format." And then the Blur says, "Do you think something for the 30th will be at Morphicon?" That's actually a really good question.
That's so close. Like,
I know Morphicon.
that's so close.
Right?
I don't know. Just from it feels like they're not ready.
We'll know. I think we'll know by then. I don't necessarily know that it'll be announced then, but I think we'll know. Like for sure. Like we'll know. You know what I mean? No.
Like maybe a trailer or something, but like we'll be told beforehand what's going to be
like a little slideshow.
Didn't they?
When do we usually get the announcement for like the next season?
Isn't it like it's past?
About last
Yeah,
February.
it was like February.
Yeah.
Right? It's supposed to be like February, right? So we haven't gotten anything.
They must be.
But before that, it was always August.
They must be really
It was
good at
always
keeping
August
these
every 2
secrets
years.
now.
Oh, really? Because it seems like a lot of it leaked.
Never mind, like the toys.
It does seem that they are, well, it's either one out of two things. They're either really good at keeping secrets or plans are changing so much that they don't even know exactly what's happening. For 30th
I mean, it's not just them too. I mean, look at freaking the Batgirl movie.
Well,
like
everything's changing.
They're pivoting. They're pivoting with like how the movie theaters are going and all that. They're pivoting. So I think it's not something new for a franchise to like try to change it up. But I think that because it's been so quiet, it's a little worrisome.
I'll say this: if Simon Bennett is behind anything having to do with 30th anniversary, I'd be confident enough to say that I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Like I think that he has a really good grasp on the storytelling of Power Rangers, but he's also able to do this thing that's very interesting that I feel that a lot of other showrunners weren't able to do as well, and that's catering to fans, but also catering to the network or
He was able to produce without the input of Heinz.
That's true. Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
So there's
too many hands in the cookie jar for way too many years.
Exactly.
And I think if Dino Fury, you're seeing what it looks like when there's not so many hands in the cookie
exactly. And I did an interview with Simon. By the way, Liz, he loved the question that you had for him about his friend recommending him for the job. That question, but he does mention.
Yes.
He did kind of mention or talked about a little bit like what season he would redo.
What do you say?
You'll see the interview and find out.
You son of a-
But he talks about that a little bit, and he talks about why he would redo it, which is a pretty cool reason. But and it's one that I actually wouldn't have expected, to be honest with you. But I think the dude has such a great grasp on long form storytelling. Obviously, from his soap opera days in the dramatic atmosphere, but it feels like he's taken such a serious interest in Power. Or, I mean, it's his job, but he's taken such a control over Power Rangers where he's diving in deep, and I think he's pulling out little nuggets specifically for fans like us.
I did like the little Beast Morphers ending with the whole like Easter eggs with the vault and stuff.
So I have a question for you guys, and Joe and Jezzer, you guys might know better because you're a little bit more familiar with the TV side of things, right? So a lot of the interviews that we've seen regarding why certain things were the way they were on the show, right, were due to broadcast standards with Nickelodeon. You can only do XYZ because the broadcast rules state that you can only do XYZ. You can only show so much of morphless fighting because of XYZ. And if they're fighting, they can't be fighting a person because of broadcast standards. Now that it's not being broadcast on TV, it's going to be on Netflix for streaming. Does that change what they're allowed to, are they now allowed to have an unmorphed fight that lasts longer than 45 seconds because there's not that standard
Gotcha.
because it's on kids TV.
Yeah, I don't know. There's these mandates that I feel that Power Rangers used to have. I'm not saying that they're all fully have gone away, but I think you've seen a big progression from Beast Morphers to Dino Fury Season 1, and then from Dino Fury Season 1 to Dino Fury Season 2. And I think hopefully, with time, that just gets better and better and better, because I'm hoping that the storytelling... The thing is, you can make a kid's show, but you can also make it digestible for adults as well. And I'm hoping that Simon Bennett is finding like this happy medium of getting us there. Because I will say this about Dino Fury. For it being a kid's show, it's a pretty decent... It's a decent story that's told very well, and it has complex characters that go further beyond the surface. And even with the lessons of the week or lessons of the day or whatever they are, they're not as on the nose as they were in previous seasons. They really, as an audience member, especially a kid that's watching this, they kind of make you come to your own conclusions, I like.
I've changed my mind. I changed what I want for the 30th anniversary.
Well, what is it?
I want sparks back when they hit each other.
I wanted to get that question in.
I love seeing the little tubes in their shirt, like right after it happens. It's like, what's that?
I just want the little like. I want those back. I don't want them digital anymore. I want actual pirates.
I want more explosions behind them, the colorful explosions.
There is another super chat from RJ Scott. He says he wants to see SPD animated show since 2025 is just 3 years away.
Wow.
2025 is 3 years away and no flying cars yet. I can't believe it.
Where are my robot dogs?
Right?
I need a Rick.
It's when Grid Battle Force turns around and goes, we've just like literally made so much technology because the morphing grid again, and that's how they like accelerate it a lot further.
It'd be funny if 2025 they just rerun SPD and that's
that would be
that love
would be great. If
they just make new toys of everything. Like, here you go.
Yeah, that would be
HD
fantastic.
it, Blu-ray that.
You know what? Like, wait, did we finish the SPD line for toys? Is it done?
No, we don't have Z. Right? There's no Z yet.
There's
no Z. There's no Nova Ranger. There's no Cat Ranger.
Yeah, I mean, there's still plenty of time.
All right, let's put a bow on this 30th anniversary discussion. Is there any final thoughts that you guys have on this 30th anniversary? And in the chat, are there any final questions you have about the 30th anniversary? Erlen, we'll start with you. What excites you? What makes you frightened as a fan? And what are you most looking forward to? Perfect world.
I'm excited for the fact that they thought outside the box with Trini, like her daughter. I'd love it if it was Firm. Firm was a daughter. I think what scares me the most is the lack of information from Hasbro Direct, or even through like say Toyline, or it sticks with just one particular thing. And I can't remember what the last part you said, so I'm going to go with. I just want them to do better. And I want them to redo Super Mega Force.
Yeah, you and Liz love Super Mega Force.
Because it's the best season ever. Liz agrees with me. Best season ever.
It's something.
It's a season. It's a Power Ranger season.
It's a show.
It's a season with really cool suits.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Zords.
Liz, speaking of cool suits and Zords for the 30th anniversary, what excites you? What frightens you? What are you nervous about?
Okay, I am excited for the fact that it seems they are thinking outside the box a bit for a reunion. You know, like they're trying to actually do a different thing and not just the same old. I mean, maybe who knows what it'll end up being. You know, oh, big monster. Let's bring some past Rangers in. Like, it seems like it could be cool to just have it be the older Rangers. I am frightened of just how little and how, I guess, fluid. And maybe they're doing a really good job keeping everything tucked up, but I'm right now going with everything might be a little bit of a cluster, and that scares the crap out of me. I was nervous for, but if this is gonna be 30 seasons how it ends, I'm just like, just don't suck. Just please don't suck. It's all at the end of the day, just
putting
don't
the bar
suck.
real high there. Liz.
Chris, what are you looking forward to? What frightens you? What makes you nervous?
Frightens me is that the 30th anniversary is technically only 14 months away, maybe 15 months away, and they haven't filmed a single thing that we're aware of. That frightens me just a little bit. It frightens me that we're not seeing a lot of hype and build up for it. Like you don't see anyone at Hasbro go, and you know what next year is, right? Like you don't see anyone talking about that in anything that they do. That worries me and frightens me. What I'm excited about because it feels like, and Joe, I think you're right there with me. It feels like every week there's something new that gets whispered, that gets shared out, in certain circles, that changes a little bit. I mean, I would say it was only what 2.5 months ago when we thought the whole anything reunion, any past actors coming back was scrapped. Because it was like, oh nope, no, it couldn't get done. So and so doesn't want to come back. So and so only wants to do this. But yet now here we are talking about stuff. And Joe, you made a good comment to me the other day that I think people should be aware of too. It's like, because you forget, right? If you're not in the entertainment business, you don't know how these things work. So if you have a big project you're trying to do, right, and you go to pitch somebody to be like, hey, you should come back. You usually make them sign an NDA when you pitch them. Like, hey, you can't talk about the fact that I asked you to come back. So we won't know. So when people take these actors' word for gospel, we're in the era of actors lying a lot.
I'm definitely not in No Way Home.
Spider-Man. Anyone familiar with that movie? So I'm not saying that means anything. I don't believe some of those actors are coming back, but I don't know, be wary. And then I would say, like, just let's temper our expectations, kind of like Liz. Like, I'm hoping something doesn't suck. I hope they don't overproduce the hell out of this thing like they do sometimes. I don't want generic, stupid music. Let's get, let's make it real good. Let's get Ron Wasserman back to do a track or the theme song or something. Let's get let's go over the top on our production. Let's spend a little bit of money. Let's make this something that we're proud of, not just something that we had to do. Because I kind of feel like the last few anniversaries, we had to do it. Let's make this one, I want to do it. But yes, I'm wary of the fact that yet here we are yet again. There's a big anniversary coming up, and it's last minute that we're like, hey guys, you want to come back?
They made small
in my perfect
steps.
world, in my perfect world, this was nailed down and ready to go 6 months ago, and they're just waiting for all the travel restrictions to be lifted enough to fly these people out. So
6 months ago would have done them some good, because right now trying to get that cast back is going to be a doozy.
The longer they wait, the more the price tag goes up.
Especially now.
If I'm trying to bank money on this, if I'm trying to make money, and because that's what I want, I'm holding out. And every week I hold out, I ask for more, because now that ASJ is gone, now you really need me to come back. So,
do you know one thing I would love to see, and I think it would be a nice, perfect circle to it if they're doing the Mighty Morphin thing. I would love it if Bulk and Skull came back and actually saw the Rangers morph and go, "It was you." Oh my God. But through the entire episode, maybe they turn around and talk about it, be like, well, I remember the Space Rangers was these guys. Oh, it wouldn't be these guys. It wouldn't be the people we grew up with. And then suddenly they see it and they go like, and then it just cuts to black.
I really would love if they could have a cameo at least from Bulk and
Yes.
Skull. They were such.
Why can't they be doing a high school reunion as the actual reunion?
Oh,
That's
that'd
so
be so
easy.
good.
That's
That is
nice.
easy. But I think because they graduated, it wouldn't match up in terms of years. But yes,
They could.
that
Yeah,
works.
like 25-year.
Then you bring everyone back. Then Steve can come back, and Johnny, and Karen, and Catherine. You can even bring back, if you really wanted to, you could bring back TJ and part of that cast, as they were in high school at the same
Carlos,
time.
Cassie.
Yeah.
So
I would love at least 2 minutes of them going to Walter. So what was the peace conference like? And be like, it was long, very long. That's it.
He just
It was out of this world.
Yeah, I've just come back. We've done world peace. It's all done, boys.
Well,
And it's like, thanks, Will.
Another quick question. I know that we can all expect at some point to see some type of the Mighty Morphin suits. Any chance you guys think we'll see the Omega suits?
No.
Live action?
No.
No.
All right, well, fair enough.
Because anybody who only watches the show, they'd show up and they'd be
Who are
like,
those guys?
"Who the is
What's
that?"
this?
I censored
There's a
myself.
cat?
This is
The most popular comic creation thus far has been Lord Draken, and we only saw that in a JDF/Kyle Higgins paid for and produced trailer.
That thing was awesome, though. You remember that little trailer?
That was, but I mean, we still don't even have, they never even bother. The 25th was totally set up for a Draken thing, totally set up. Even had JDF come back, and they didn't do it. So that's where it's like you get frustrated, and so I think if they're gonna do anything, they would actually do Draken, because he's kind of the most popular villain in the brand right now. They want it to be Lord Zed, but it's still Draken.
Draken. Well, look, I think this is a good place to end the Ranger wrap up, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this Ranger Nation discussion. Heirloom, where can everybody find you on social media?
You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook as Heirloom, but on Twitter at Mainstream Live.
Chris, how about you?
You can find my personal Twitter at TokuChris, but you can find me at Toku Nation, at Power Ranger, at FNCool, all the usual spots.
Liz.
I'm Ranger Liz, and that's where I am everywhere. You can find me on YouTube, and I'm mostly on Twitter, but I, in theory, have an Instagram and a Facebook as well.
Jezzer?
Yeah, everywhere, like Liz, everything is Jezzer Zeus.
And you can find me here at the Illuminerdi. I want to thank my fellow collaborators on the Ranger Wrap-Up. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Deoxy, Fan Club, Heirloom, Liz.
Josh Perry,
Lightning Storm, Ranger Key. It gets confusing sometimes.
Lightning Fig PR.
So thank you guys so much for joining us. That's going to do it for this week's Ranger Wrap-Up. We will be back next week talking about more Power Rangers. Kai Moya is going to be on the show talking about Dino Fury. Thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button to stay up to date with everything trending in geek pop culture. Thanks, guys.